This is episode 18 of What's Been Better. This week, we're talking about releasing. We have to let go of old trauma, narratives, and anything else that doesn't serve us. To all those with the sensitive ears, let me warn you, we cuss a little for emphasis, not harm.
Hello,
You good?
hello. Yes. Hi.
Alrighty, let's do this.
Yes. Let's.
You want to start or you want me to start?
I will start. What's been better, Miss Sil?
Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Do you know that that's my nickname?
Yes, I found out last
Okay.
week.
Oh, no. You called me Sil. Sil is like my real nickname.
Ah,
All of my friends and like bond ships call me Sly.
okay. That's
Sil is
Uh-huh.
like family. Like my
Interesting.
dad used to call me that when he was alive.
Oh, really?
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's crazy. What's been better? I found a bathing suit.
Hey.
Hey now. I found a nicely covered up, but I'm very comfortable in it and I like how it looks and I felt good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Bathing suit.
I'm so excited. I would
So
love to see it.
I will take pictures.
Thank you.
I will not be posting them, but I will take pictures and I will send them to you.
Cool.
What else has been better? Oh, installed a whole drip irrigation system for the plants so that way they can be watered while we're gone.
You know what? That sounds so complicated. I don't even want to know how you did it.
Lori, YouTube.
Okay. Was it
YouTube
complicated though?
University. Um, Not as complicated as I thought it was, but it definitely took two people
Mm-hmm.
because my garden is not very small.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been like all day and into the next day and into the next day. Like it would have taken a long time. So I think it took us, well, we had to go to the store in between. So I would say a total of like maybe 5 hours.
Okay. That's lovely compared to a few days.
I mean, yeah, because it would have
Mm-hmm.
been a few days of like standing out there sweating to death.
Mm.
But luckily, best husband ever was just like, all right, let's do it.
I love the teamwork.
Yes,
Teamwork is dream work.
yes. So that has been what's been better. I have not had to wake up super early to
Yeah.
go and stand out there, but it's still, I still get to go out, look at everything. Everything is still luscious and growing, and that just makes me happy.
Oh,
So
that's so
I know that my
lovely.
plant kiddos will be taken care of
Mm-hmm.
while we're gone. So yeah.
That's great.
What's been better for you, Lori?
Well, let's see. I've been doing a lot of yard work. So while
Love
you're
it.
doing your plant, what do you call it, your garden? So I
Mm-hmm.
have a flower garden and I
Ooh,
needed to, I have an issue with weeds. I don't
okay.
like them. They're not my friends.
No.
And so they keep growing into my flower garden. So I got the idea, what if I put plastic down? And
Yes.
so I ordered some plastic and I re uh redid it. I just put it,
Okay.
put it as a weed guard and then we just had to remulch and that's been better because my yard looks better and we don't have any weeds coming in my plants, messing it up.
What kind of flowers are you growing?
Now see, you got me
Uh-oh.
lying now. I have a I have a lot of what is it? Not tulips. Um I have a whole lot of everything, right?
Okay.
I do have a bonsai tree. I will
Ooh.
say that the bonsai tree is the statement, and then
Okay.
all the flowers are around it, right?
Okay.
So,
Has it been pruned like if you could just like automatically tell that it's a bonsai tree? Like it's got the little
oh
like
yeah,
L
you,
shape.
oh yeah, you can
Oh,
see it's really pretty, and when the lights hit it
neat.
at night, it looks really nice.
Oh,
But
that's
I
neat.
have different types of plants around it.
Okay.
But I have perennials and then I have shrubs, but
Mm-hmm.
the names of them just escape me right now. But
Okay.
it's really pretty.
That's cool. I have to
Yeah.
see pictures. I have to see pictures.
Okay, cool. I will send some to you. But that's been
Okay.
better because when I drive up to my neighborhood, I don't see a half done yard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
That would
yeah.
drive me crazy if it was like, okay, I got to get this finished.
Yep. It
So at
looked a
least
hot
it's
mess.
finished.
Yeah, it is finished, and it's a good feeling.
It's
So
always good too. Like when you put the mulch over everything, you're like,
mm,
ah,
mhm.
this is complete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is polished. Yeah.
Yes.
And believe it or not, it's therapy for me, right?
Hmm.
So when I think about therapy, that's my therapy. When I go out, I sweat. I
Hmm.
listen to my music. I listen to, Sirius XM, and I'm out there in it, and
Hmm.
I'm getting that vitamin D, and I'm moving my body because I get sore, but it feels really, really good. And it's something that you look at and it's like, wow, this was worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's a release of
Mhm.
some sort, which
E-
brings us to this episode.
Exactly.
I think it is for me too to do any kind of yard work, like to put anything together in my yard or to like clean up anything in my yard. Like cutting down that giant branch that day that had fallen in the front, I was like, I could just keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like as the batteries were dying in the saw, I was like, oh man, I guess I gotta go do something else. It was kind of like annoying because I was like on a
Right.
mission.
Right.
It's always
Right.
like a mission or a puzzle or something, and that
Mm.
it
Yeah.
gets me out of my head because
Exactly.
I just have to focus on like the task.
Exactly. Yep.
So
That's a nice diversion or distraction from issues.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
which I guess is good, but then it's just like you got to come back down to earth and deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with.
That's
So
true. That's true. And
yeah,
hopefully that would give us strength to be able to deal with it, or give us energy to do it.
yeah,
So
it does a little bit for me, depending on the situation. Yeah, it really does because I have a clear enough brain at that point to come back to the thing,
mhm. Yep.
or maybe look at it with like a different set of eyes now.
Yep.
So it
Exactly.
doesn't always work, but it definitely does work when it works.
Yeah.
But
So tell me
anyway,
your thought process behind this episode today about releasing.
so after we did the episode on reverting,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really felt like myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been feeling like almost like a pressure cooker
Okay.
and feeling like I'm confronting things and I'm standing in like, this is what the truth is. And I'm finishing up reading because I've really, really taken time to like pay attention, listen, do the writing, do the assignments for Reforming Your Inner Mean Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like something is going to bubble over.
Okay.
But I don't have like a pulse on exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like we said at the beginning, like I'm holding on to like old narratives. I'm holding on to things. And it's like, just let them go.
Mm-hmm.
But letting them go almost feels heavier than carrying them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How so
So
though? How so?
because now they're in the way.
Okay.
When it was on my back, it was like I could at least still move my feet. I could still kind of go somewhere. But now it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's standing in the way. It's a hurdle. It's a blockage. It's something that's just like it's out. It's
Mm-hmm.
off my back, but it's still impeding.
Right. Right. And so
So
then how does release or releasing play a part or play a role in what's taking place?
I think because like, yeah, like I'm getting the things off of me. They're not in my head in the same manner, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of this is like I'm vibrating in the fear range.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid to confront some of these things. I'm afraid to release them
Mm-hmm.
because they're part of my narrative, I guess, to
Okay.
say.
Right.
I don't know. How do you feel about like when you release something? Is it that easy for you to just be like, well, it's done now?
Mm-mm. No, because I got my own shit that like currently that I have to release, and it comes back. It's almost to say, because I like to invite shit to go away. I'm inviting you to leave.
Exactly.
And sometimes they do, and then they come back and they say, well, Lori, I want to come back and bother you some more. And so I have to come up with another reframe, right? Okay. My reframe helped me release. It helps me to look at what this narrative is that I'm holding on to, because there are some times that I'm fearing a thing. And I'm like, okay, well, Lori, what if you didn't fear it?
Right.
What would be different? What if you did let it go for real? And I'm using distraction and other things. Like I'm trying to use different tools to help me navigate through that space. Okay. And I work for for some moments, and sometimes it's I guess what it is I'm having to retell myself my reasoning or my rationale for letting it go.
Oh, okay. So it's like it didn't fully disappear. So now you have to remind yourself of like, remember now, we got rid of this because of whatever.
Exactly.
Like, because it wasn't helping you, it wasn't serving you, it wasn't doing anything for progress.
Absolutely. Right. Okay. And it's always waiting to come back. Right. It's kind of standing out there because it don't have no damn where to go. I don't know why. But I have to remember how I feel when it's gone.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to get to the point where like seeing past the blockage and seeing like what could be better once it's fully out of the way. But I'm like in this space where it's like I've taken the weights off. But now they're still at my feet, tripping me up.
I see. And so for some of you out there who are listening to this and saying, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, what the hell? It's issues, anything. It could be drinking too much. It could be pornography. It could be jealousy. It could be envy or stealing. I mean, like some of those, some people don't even deal with that, but it could be as simple as what you can, even if you want to jump in, Sylvia, but something as simple as gossiping, or talking about people, or on
my end, we talked about before that it's like it's been the weight situation. It's been like this disconnect between like working on my mental health and compartmentalizing that like this was a part of it. It's even down to that. It's even down to like leaving a job.
Right.
And you still talk to people that were at the job. Now you're thinking about like what it was like, or you haven't found a new job and now you don't have a job and you're like, I should have probably just stayed. No, you shouldn't have.
Right.
You did the right thing. When you left, you did the thing you were supposed to do. Like just because you're in this valley right now doesn't mean that you have to stay there. And that's the part that I have to like keep reminding myself is like, I'm here right now. Doesn't mean that I have to stay here.
Absolutely. And the things sometimes that get us stuck, right? So if we release it, so for instance, say somebody said something stupid to you on the job. And later on, you're like, I should have cussed their asses out.
Yes.
And that thought pops back up in your head, but you had released it, right? You released it and you said, no, I thought better of it. It was best for me not to. But then the thought came back. Now you're a punk. Like the thought will come to you and try to egg you on. And so some of the tools you can use is to reframe it, is to say, no, I'm not going to allow myself to take this personally, right? So you can use some of the 4 agreements, where you can use whatever the tools are to help you, right? You can reframe, but then also regret can set in. Like I regret. So the regret is coming at you to say, no, you should have done that. And so it's about you deciding to, and you might have to do it 4 or 5 times, release it.
Yeah.
Encourage yourself, compliment yourself, have compassion for yourself. All of those things work.
Yeah. because it's it's almost to the point where it's like the release, and I'll probably understand it later, but it's like right now I don't see it. I don't understand. It's like a can't see the forest for the trees moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can't see past the benefit of releasing this, because it just really does seem like it was much easier to just stay with the thing on your back. It was just much easier to like, that was my norm.
Right.
You know how people, like how you said, like rehearsing stuff, like you're rehearsing the trauma.
Right.
It's kind of the same scenario of like, I'm just holding on to whatever narrative I've told myself is the normal thing.
Right. And with that, you might want to ask yourself, how does it help you?
It doesn't.
Right. So then if it doesn't help you, does releasing help?
I believe it would help. I just need to figure out, like, I guess maybe I'm not committing enough to releasing. Because if it was released, it wouldn't still be tripping me up the way that it's tripping me up.
Yeah, but that's not true.
Really?
Yeah, because if you release something, it can always come back. It's always asking to come back. It's just like, for instance, somebody who's deciding to not drink anymore. And they know the reasons to not drink. They know all of them, but they know all the reasons why they kept that narrative of drinking in the first place. And so once you release it and say you haven't had a drink in 4 or 5 years, but you're hanging out with some friends and you remember the good old times, do we pick it back up?
Right, because anybody could fall off the wagon
at any time,
per se. Right.
And
I
then
guess
you
this
have
is
to
the same
choose.
thing.
Oh, absolutely. And then you just have to choose to release again.
Yeah. But I guess like I'm just frustrated in this is the problem with being like the perfectionist. Is like it should just work on the first try. It should just be like a cold turkey thing, and everything should just be fine, and it should just be over. And it's like, that's not how this works.
No, because this world ain't like that.
Yeah, and it's also like, why do I always think I'm different? You're not different. Like, nobody is special. We are unique, but we're not special.
Right.
Like, if I was special, it would just work on the first try. Everything would be fine. Like, this show would have been one episode. Like, I'm fixed. Okay, bye.
Right.
Like, it doesn't work like that. But it's like convincing myself it doesn't work like that that's nothing but like perfectionist talking.
Right.
So,
and I think it's about telling yourself that you're a work in progress. And that's why, again, asking ourselves what's been better, because we're looking at getting better one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 second at a time. It's moment by moment.
Yeah. I feel like this is like, going and visiting my mom and like talking to her about like family stuff. And a lot of us have done our ancestry DNA and have connected with like other family members and stuff. And like dragging that up has also been like, ooh, this is a lot. And I know a lot of people go through that. Like they find like siblings they didn't know. They find their parents because they didn't know that their parents weren't their parents. So it's like kind of releasing other people's demons in a way.
That's true. And I'll share mine. Like, I have a death that was in the family just recently. And when that death occurred suddenly, it was a shock to the system. And everybody went quick to anger, hatred, vitriol, frustration. And I said, what if we changed the narrative? What if we went to immediately, well, first we acknowledge that, it is sad. It is definitely sad and heart-wrenching, right? So we comfort ourselves and then celebrate the life, because we know that as surely as we live here, we're going to die, and we don't know when we are. So what if we release the old thinking, that old narrative of being angry and hanging on to that hurt, And every year when that death comes, we prepare to be sad instead of preparing to be sad
Right.
on the anniversary of their death. It could be that's when that person maybe sprouted wings or whatever you want to attach to that instead of this sad narrative. What if we could celebrate that? That is a release.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I know that has to take a lot of practice.
Yes, it does.
Especially in the manner of like a traumatic situation, like a really sudden traumatic situation. It has to be a lot of practice to be able to be like, you know what? We're going to celebrate this life. We are not going to seek retribution. We are not going to be angry. We're not like that's bravo to you to having that practice in your life.
Well, the thing is to let the prosecutors prosecute, let the investigators investigate, let the detectives detect, right? That's not our job.
Right.
Our job is to celebrate this person's life and reflect on the goodness and all the things that he did that make him great. You know, and because if I get over here trying to be detective and I get over here trying to be this person to investigate, when do I get a chance to mourn and also celebrate?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that is going to be a choice. We can do whatever, but I think some of the old narratives confine us and they keep us in a holding pattern that keep us from growing. And life is about expansion. So do we want to expand or do we want to contract? Because contracting, we're going to keep getting more fractioned off of ourselves. And you talk about dying, that's a quick death.
Right.
That's a death of a mind.
Right. Right. Like, yeah. Because that's just going to eat at you the whole entire time.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
You see how that thing holding on, like you said was on your back, that'll eat at you. Yeah. So yes, it is in your face now, but damn, it's in your face. It's not on you.
It's, I'm always processing in real time when we do these episodes. So it's like hearing you say it's kind of pushing it a little bit further. It's like, it's not on me. It's not on me, which means it's away from me, which means it's not attached to me anymore.
Exactly.
And yeah, I see it. I see what you're saying. And I see the importance of it. And I hope that like other people hear this and have that feeling or have that talk with themselves of like, just not necessarily step back from the thing, but like, let it continue to move away from you.
Right. Detach. And you can choose to detach from it because when you can detach from it, you're not connected to it. You don't have to say I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drug addict or I'm a this or I'm a that. Or I'm depressed. Like, like you don't have to attach yourself to that thing anymore.
Right.
I have been someone who drank a lot, or I have been someone who used to be depressed, or I have been depressed, but no longer is that me, right?
Yeah.
I'm detaching myself from that scenario and I'm choosing to release myself from the thought of it or release myself from that narrative that kept bringing me back to this place that I felt like I need to be depressed or I'm depressed about this. No.
Yeah. I think too, like part of it. So like last week we talked about like my skin issues and like trying to find an answer and things like that. And like, I literally took time, made a video, posted on TikTok.
Wow.
And I got a lot of responses, but I didn't get a lot of answers.
Okay.
So this is also part of like feeling like I'm just never going to get away from this. I've released it because it was like, I mean, you heard me last week. I would never talk about that. I would never show that. I would never put pictures out there, anything like that. And I did all of it last week, which was like, yes, a bit of a release, but it's like, it's still on me because there was no solid, like, I know exactly what that is, or I know exactly who you should talk to or anything like that. So it's like, there's
not
the
yet.
perfectionist part.
Right.
Okay.
Not yet.
I hear you. I hear you.
And
Not
so,
yet.
right. And so then we have to ask ourselves, what do I need in this moment? Maybe to be patient,
Yeah.
maybe to distract myself, maybe to set it in another place like Instagram or Facebook or Reddit or something, another larger platform, Twitter, something, that you might hear again, or maybe on, what is it? WebMD. Like they're just different platforms, or I'm going to continue my search. Right.
Right.
It's we don't stop.
You know what else? It's kind of what I was just saying about like, it's not cold turkey. Like releasing isn't necessarily instant.
Right.
It's not necessarily
Nice.
instant.
Thank you. It could be a work of a lifetime.
Oh, hell no. I ain't got a lifetime to have these scars.
I hear you, but I'm saying it could be.
No.
It could be a work of life. And sometimes we have peaks and sometimes we have valleys. Sometimes we have victories and sometimes there are defeats. And sometimes they're total victories. And that would be beautiful. But everybody's story is different. Right.
Yeah.
So my hope is that, you're totally released from this situation, never to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hope.
Mine
right?
too. That is like the biggest hope, is like, I don't want any remnants of this ever again. Like, take all these scars, take all the patches, take all the everything, take the medication. Like I do not like medication for anything.
Right.
Like, it's already enough that I take allergy medication, and I don't mean like over the counter Benadryl. I mean like a full prescription of stuff for my allergies, because my allergies are wild.
Okay.
But it's like, if I could figure out how to not be allergic to the earth,
but
and it's the indoors,
right? It's something I can't, and it might work for you, it might not. But you have in your backyard, you have a garden.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering and I don't know if you are a raw person, like if you've gone totally vegan or gone totally raw. I'm wondering if that might serve you, right?
I mean, it might, but let's put it like this. I find out at least once a week a new thing that I'm allergic to.
That's what I'm saying.
Including things in the garden. Like, I didn't realize that like I'm allergic to the leaves of the zucchini plant. But the zucchini I could eat.
How'd you find that out?
Picking the zucchinis.
And what did it do? Make your fingers raw?
Like, I still have the rash. Like, it has not gone away. Like, it gave me almost like hives.
Oh, wow.
Just from my fingertips to just before my elbows here are welts of all different types from picking the zucchini plants. Okay.
There's another idea. Wellness clinics where you might have acupuncture, or they work on your chakras to just check in with you to see if there's anything, because some of that could be related to how you feel within your body about certain things. So there's so many avenues.
Right. And I've had acupuncture before and it was great. I highly recommend it. And it was, talk about releasing. I felt like so much came out of me when I had acupuncture. Like it took a minute for like, again, nothing is instant. It took a minute for like the effects to come, but it's just a matter of like, I felt better after having it done. But but I only had it that one time. I don't know why I didn't. Again, I had it on vacation because, you could just get anything done when you're on vacation in a foreign country. But I never came back home and was like, okay, I'm going to find like a regular practitioner of that. I just never did.
Well, yep. Yeah. See, so now there are options as you rehearse them, as you think in yourself, I want better for my life. Even that thought process brings up ideas.
Yeah. And that thought process kind of helps release other things. Exactly. Because it's things that like I don't necessarily always think of. and then I'll talk to you or I'll talk to somebody else, or like I'll have a long conversation with Chris that we just had a conversation with. And there'll be things I'm like, oh shit, let me put this down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hold that anymore.
Right.
I think in the whole process of releasing, it's also realizing for me the things that I need to release that I don't even necessarily know need to be released.
Exactly. So
yeah.
That's cool stuff. So how do you feel?
I feel a little bit better. I do. I feel a little bit better. Like I feel like it's possible to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I have to keep reminding myself of a lot of stuff. We almost should have called this episode reminding, because I have to remind myself that I'm not by myself. I have to remind myself that like I can ask for help. I have to remind myself that like this, I didn't get here in 5 minutes, so it's not going to take 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And I have to remember that like this is just a process that's going to be a long time. Like this is a marathon.
Right.
Like it's just not going to be over with because I want it to be over with. It's I want to be better, but that doesn't mean that I'm like instantly better.
But I kind of beg to differ a little bit, but I think
Okay.
in time, the more you believe in this moment, I am better, because our words are powerful. So we're never going to get away from that. It's just that the more we believe, the more it's true. The faster it is true.
Right.
It's just like being able to snap your finger, right? Like at first you didn't probably believe that you can snap your finger, and then you just start practicing, getting closer and getting closer. And now you can, boom, you can call it. It's just boom. It's just like that. And so it's you actually knowing that you're better. You're proclaiming it right in this moment. And then it's like, and I am also seeing the results of my healing right now.
Yeah. I almost need to do a little bit more writing and realizing what is better. Because being in this valley right now is, I know we talked about like reverting, but it's making me kind of go back to things aren't better. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. I'm not this. I'm not enough, whatever. But it's, just, I need to take a breath and like release the negative air out and the negative energy out first.
Right.
In order to take steps to reset where my brain, like back to where I was, because I felt like I was on this like meteoric ride of like everything is better, it's getting better, this is good, and it's like seeing all of this at the tip of my nose now is like wait, and I don't necessarily want to wait. I want to keep going on the path that I was already on.
Right. And you can be right. And that's going to take a reset. Sometimes you might have to cleanse. It's a lot of things that can happen. Also, like you said, writing things down so you can see it. You can affirm yourself. You might ask yourself, am I having daily devotion? Am I having daily meditation? How am I going to sleep? How am I waking up? What am I saying to myself? What are my mental narratives? Because we have a script every day of the things that I heard recently, that we have over 60,000 thoughts that run through our mind every day.
Shit, mine's probably way higher than that, but okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I can believe it. Yeah.
And about 90% of them, those thoughts are negative.
Yes.
And so it's about reclaiming our time. It's about reframing those thoughts and telling ourselves differently. Sometimes we have to write some of these thoughts down and telling those thoughts that they're not true.
Yes. And oh man, we definitely have to do a whole episode on reforming your inner mean girl, because that's some shit that's in that book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's some stuff that you said also, which I'm like, the more the book says things that you've said, I'm like, the more it's true. Like the more
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
more I believe it, because I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Lori already told me that. So it's it's just a lie that my brain is like, out of the 12 mean girls that are
Mm-hmm.
wandering around in my head,
Mm-hmm.
they all have some lie, some narrative that they told.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing a lot of deciphering
Mm-hmm. Right.
and trying to figure out, like, are these lies? Okay, these are lies. All right, put them lies over there because they're just lies. Like, put them in the liar bin. But I almost need to figure out, like, how do I light that damn liar bin on fire?
Right. By telling it the truth. The truth is the quencher.
Yeah.
It sets that shit on fire, because just like darkness, when you turn on the light, the darkness disappears.
Right.
It can't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So the truth extinguishes the lie.
Yeah.
It no longer can disturb, well, not to say disturb you, but it no longer has that power anymore, because the truth then overpowers it.
Yeah. Like, I'm just working towards a point of, like, shit like this will pop up and it won't be a pop. It'll just be like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that's going to take a lot of practice,
Right.
for things to, because I'm so quick to just, like, not have my shields up
Mm-hmm.
all the way. So that way stuff
Right.
just still finds a way in.
Right.
Like,
And
my shields are there.
Mm-hmm.
Them things are there. They're
Right.
at like 80% if you watch Star Trek. They're like, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
But if something comes at me, I'm like, oh, damn, I should have put the rest of them shields up. But I just don't.
Well, the question is then, what can you do about that so that you can have those shields up? Because you don't like how I feel when you get hit with them damn darts or whatever
Right.
is coming at you.
Yeah. But it's I guess I believed for a long time that, like, if I had my shields up the whole time, I wouldn't feel anything. I wouldn't know anything. I would be disconnected so much. But it's harmful for them to not be up. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
You have to.
yeah. Yeah. Shit. Lots of work to do. Lots of work to do. But I think it's all doable. It is. I mean, I just have to make the choice. I guess we all have to make the choice of, like, what are we just not gonna hold on to anymore?
Right. Because we got to ask ourselves, what is it that we desire? If we
Yeah.
keep that ever before us, we won't get distracted. Right. Or if the distraction comes, it's about resetting. Right.
Mhm.
Remembering, what is it that I desire? Let me focus on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew. More homework, more shit to overstand.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is going to be a really super short episode, but I thought it was important to have this conversation and to keep the transparency up of, like, I have a lot of shit together now, but I don't have everything together. I am growing. I am not grown. The end.
Well, and I'm going to say this real quick. This is for all of us. We are ever growing. And we're not going to stop until we leave here.
Yeah.
Until those lights are out permanently, we're going to always be growing.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks for listening.
Before we go, you know we love hearing from you. So thank you to everyone who leaves us a voice memo, text, comments, and emails. This week, our good friend C. Good from the Breakthroughs episode left us a message about his thoughts on episode 17.
Listening to episode 17 of the What's Been Better podcast taught me that you need to be optimistic when going to the next level. You have to be optimistic when you are giving up the 10 to get to an 11. 11 is the next level after 10. You have to sacrifice and be optimistic about giving up the 10 to become an 11 and then grow to be a 20. So optimistic is very important. I think Sylvia is doing an awesome job as far as breaking through and cutting the strings. That takes a lot of optimistic spirit because you don't know what's going to happen. But Miss Lori also spoke about how when you have negative thoughts, they're going to kind of return. Our thoughts love us. So when we continue to think about ourselves, those things are going to come back. So if you continue to think optimistic about certain situations and going to the next level, that same optimistic spirit will attract good things back to you. And that's part of going to the next level. When you're around people who have the negative bug or the pessimistic bug, that same pessimistic bug will rub off on you. But if you go where you celebrate it and not where you tolerate it, the optimistic bug will rub off on you as well. So it's the same cause and effect. So you have to be optimistic in order to go to the next level. There again, sacrificing the 10 to become an 11. So if you operate in an optimistic spirit, as they speak about in episode 17, breaking through requires an awesome, huge amount of optimism.
That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
And I'm Sylvia Johnson. And you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagon Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
We want to hear what's been better for you this week. So send us a voice message or an email to questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at What's Been Better Podcast.
Thanks for listening.